Let's be honest, few things are more unsettling to a woman than the sudden realization that she's no longer the center of your attention. It might sound harsh, but it taps into something deeply wired in all of us: the need to feel seen, valued, and emotionally prioritized. For years, we've been conditioned to believe that men should always be the ones chasing, proving, and investing their energy to hold a woman's interest. But what happens when that energy shifts? When the attention that used to be consistent begins to pull back, even subtly? That's when things get really telling, and I'm not talking about manipulation or games. That's not what this is. What we're diving into today is human psychology and emotional dynamics that play out whether we acknowledge them or not. Attention, especially in relationships, is a powerful currency. Where you choose to focus your energy reveals what you truly value. And for a woman, the presence or absence of your attention sends signals that go far beyond ego. It speaks to her sense of emotional safety, her connection to you, and sometimes even her self-worth. When that attention disappears or weakens, it can trigger unexpected emotional responses. She may not even fully understand why she feels what she's feeling: confusion, frustration, maybe even a sense of rejection or urgency. And it's in those reactions that you begin to see her true emotional patterns, her attachment style, and the depth of the bond you've built or haven't. Today, we're going to explore 7 common ways women tend to respond when they sense that shift, when they realize they're no longer your emotional priority. Some of these might catch you off guard. Others might confirm things you've already witnessed but couldn't quite name. Either way, the goal here is awareness, not judgment. By the end of this, you'll have a deeper understanding of not just her behavior, but your own power in relationships. Power rooted in self-respect, clarity, and emotional maturity. Let's get into it. 1. She suddenly wants to talk more. One of the first and often most telling signs that a woman senses your attention has shifted is that she suddenly becomes more eager to talk. Not just light, playful conversations that flow naturally in a healthy connection, but deeper, more frequent, sometimes even out of the blue check-ins, a casual "Hey, how's your day?" text, a spontaneous call, maybe even questions that sound emotionally loaded, like, "Where's your head at lately?" Or, "Are we good?" At first glance, it can feel like she's just being sweet or thoughtful. But what really stands out is the timing. For weeks, maybe even months, she had consistent access to your energy. You were the one reaching out, showing interest, making plans, staying emotionally present. Whether she meant to or not, she got used to it, used to you always being available, attentive and affirming. But then something changed. Maybe you got tired of always being the one to initiate. Maybe you realized your effort wasn't being reciprocated. Or maybe, as often happens in healthy self-growth, you started focusing more on your own goals, priorities, and emotional well-being. Without making a dramatic announcement, you quietly pulled your energy back, and that's when she noticed. Suddenly, you're getting messages at unexpected times, thoughtful questions, conversations that feel more emotionally open than they used to. And while it might look like she's finally stepping up, what's really happening is this: she feels the gap your attention used to fill. She's seeking reassurance, even if she's not consciously aware of it. She's trying to determine if she still holds emotional weight in your life, if she still has influence, connection, or control over the dynamic. Now, this isn't always coming from a manipulative place. Sometimes it's genuine curiosity or a healthy concern about the relationship. Other times, it's more about ego or a fear of losing emotional security. Either way, her increased effort tells you something important. Your attention mattered. Possibly more than she realized until it was gone. Here's where it's important for you to stay grounded. Just because she's initiating more doesn't mean you owe her immediate clarity or validation. You don't need to rush in to reassure her, explain yourself, or return to old habits. Let her feel the shift. Let her come forward. Because it's in that space that you begin to see the difference between someone who truly values you and someone who just enjoyed the comfort of your spotlight. 2. She tries to make you jealous. When a woman senses that she's no longer the focus of your attention, one of the classic yet often unconscious reactions is to trigger jealousy. This response is deeply rooted in emotional psychology, and while it might feel immature on the surface, it's usually not coming from a place of malice. More often, it's a way to test the emotional waters. To see if you still care. It can show up in subtle ways. Casually mentioning a guy who messaged her or complimented her, name-dropping someone new she met, or posting photos on social media where she looks especially polished, often with another man in the background or tagged in the comments. Suddenly, she's living her best life, and you're noticing every curated post seems designed to catch your attention. That's not an accident. What's really happening is this: when your attention used to be constant, it filled an emotional space for her. Whether or not she consciously acknowledged it, it made her feel validated, special, secure. When that attention disappears, there's a void, and if she can't get your focus back through connection, she may try to provoke a reaction by making you feel a bit uncomfortable. Jealousy becomes a tool not necessarily to hurt you, but to reaffirm her place in your emotional world. And here's where a lot of men fall into the trap. They see these signs and start chasing again, texting more, asking questions, trying to figure out who these guys are. But the moment you react, you're giving her exactly what she wanted: confirmation that she still holds influence over you. The key is to stay centered. Don't take the bait. Recognize it for what it is: not a sign she's happier without you, but a signal that your absence has affected her more than she's willing to admit. That's not a bad thing. It's just human. We all crave affirmation. But the moment you stop reacting to her attempts to provoke emotion, you shift the dynamic. You're no longer participating in the performance. And from there, she's left with a choice: show up more authentically, or fade out. 3. Her ego goes into overdrive. Another subtle but powerful reaction when a woman feels your attention slipping away is that her ego starts to flare. And this one can be tricky to recognize because it often hides behind confidence or indifference. Let's break it down. Your consistent attention, whether you meant it to or not, became a form of validation. It told her she was desirable, valued, and emotionally important. When that steady stream of reinforcement disappears, the ego doesn't just stay quiet, it starts scrambling to protect itself. This is when you might notice a shift. She starts acting a little more arrogant. She puts on a stronger than necessary front. She might go out of her way to show you or the world that she's completely unaffected. Comments like, "I've got guys lining up," or "I don't have time for this drama," are often defense mechanisms. They're not reflections of peace, they're reactions to emotional dissonance. She's trying to convince herself, and maybe you, that she's still in control, that she doesn't need your attention, that she's just fine. But the truth is, if she truly didn't care, she wouldn't be performing. The overcompensation itself is the sign. It's not that she's emotionally secure, it's that your attention mattered more than she expected. And again, this doesn't make her a villain. It makes her human. We all have egos. We all react to loss in different ways. What matters most is what you do in response. Don't get pulled into proving your worth. Don't try to match her energy or compete with her performance. Stay steady. When you recognize these behaviors as emotional defenses, not declarations of strength, you give yourself the power to respond with calm clarity. That's where real connection, or real clarity, can finally begin to emerge. Another thing you might notice is that she starts focusing on herself more, but in a way that feels performative. She wants you to see that she's thriving, that she looks amazing, that her life is full, that she's having fun. This is another expression of the ego stepping in. If she can't get your attention the easy way, she'll try to make sure you see her as this high-value woman who doesn't need anyone, including you. It's not always about genuine happiness or fulfillment. Often, it's about crafting an image, sending a message. Look at me, I'm doing great without you. Here's the key for you. Don't get caught up in the ego show. It's tempting to feel like you have to respond, to prove something back, to match the energy or answer the little digs and displays she throws out. But that's exactly what her ego wants: to pull you back into the game and get a reaction that tells her she still matters to you in that way. The more you stay calm and steady, the more that ego-driven behavior will lose its momentum. Remember, when her ego goes into overdrive, it's not because she's truly unaffected. It's because she's feeling the loss of your attention and is trying to manage it the best way she knows how. Your best move? Stay focused, stay grounded, and let her ego wear itself out while you keep your peace. 4. She plays hot and cold. Another common reaction when a woman realizes she's lost your attention is that she starts playing hot and cold. One moment she's warm, sweet, maybe even flirty. The next, she's distant, cold, or acts like she couldn't care less. This isn't random mood swings, it's a way of testing if she can still pull you back in. When you were giving her consistent attention, she knew exactly where she stood. But once that fades, uncertainty creeps in. That uncertainty makes her want to test the waters. She'd turn up the charm, be extra nice, or show interest to see if you'll respond the way you used to. If you don't, she might pull back just as fast. Why? Because she's protecting herself. She doesn't want to be the one chasing or losing face. So she switches off the warmth to see if you'll start chasing again. This back and forth can be confusing. You might wonder, is she into me or not? One day she seems to want your attention. The next, she acts like she doesn't need you. But this pattern isn't about you, it's about her trying to figure out how much control she still has in the dynamic. It's about seeing if she can draw your focus back without fully putting herself out there. The key is not to take the bait. When a woman plays hot and cold, she's trying to stir your emotions and see if she can spark old patterns again. The more you stay calm and steady without reacting to the highs or the lows, the less power this game has. If she's genuine, she eventually dropped the act. If it was only about attention, she'd get bored once she realizes you won't push her buttons anymore. Remember, your attention is valuable. Once you stop giving it away so freely, people start showing you how much they actually respected it in the first place. A woman playing hot and cold is a sign she feels the shift and is trying to understand what it means for her. Don't let the flip-flopping throw you off balance. Stay focused on what you want and let her actions speak louder than her mixed signals. 5. She tests your patience when a woman realizes she's lost your attention. Another common response is to start testing your patience. This can happen in small, subtle ways or in more obvious ways. What's really going on here is that she wants to see if she still has influence over your emotions. She's asking herself, can I still get a reaction from him? Does he still care enough to get under his skin? These tests come in many forms. Maybe she's a bit more difficult on purpose, saying things that challenge you or teasing you in ways that feel less playful and more like she's pushing your buttons. Maybe she cancels or changes plans at the last minute to see how you respond. Or she might act like she's too busy or above it all to engage with you the way she used to, hoping you'll lose your cool or chase harder to win her back. Picture this. You're texting a woman you've been seeing, but now you're not the one always initiating. She's holding back, acting unpredictable, almost daring you to make the first move. It's a subtle test to see if you're still invested. The most important thing here is to recognize these tests without getting caught up in them. Don't let her behavior dictate your mood or your value. Stay patient, stay grounded, and don't take the bait. When you maintain your calm, maintain your calm. You communicate that your self-worth isn't dependent on her approval or emotional gains. You've been focusing more on yourself, less available, less eager. Suddenly, she starts taking forever to reply, or she gives short, dry answers that don't really move the conversation forward. Then, when you slow down your responses, she follows up with comments like, "Oh, too busy for me now," or "Guess I'm not that interesting anymore." On the surface, that might sound casual or playful, but what's really going on is she's testing your patience. She's seeing if she can pull you back into that old dynamic, where you were working harder for her attention. Why does this happen? It's simple. When a woman senses the shift in your focus, she wants to know if she can still control the pace. She's looking to see if you'll break character, if you'll get frustrated, annoyed, or eager enough to prove yourself. Because if you do, it reassures her that she still has that hold over you. The smart move? Recognize it for what it is and don't get pulled into the drama. When she tests your patience, stay calm. Keep your responses steady and don't reward the baiting with emotional reactions. When you show you're not rattled or playing along, she either drop the games or reveal her true intentions. At the end of the day, your patience is a sign of strength. Holding your ground and not letting these little tests throw you off shows you're not easily swayed and your attention can't be manipulated. 6. She acts like she doesn't care, but when a woman notices she's lost your attention, one of the most common reactions you'll see is her acting like she doesn't care at all. She put on this cool, detached front like your shift in focus hasn't affected her in the slightest. But here's the truth, if she really didn't care, she wouldn't need to act like she didn't care. That act itself gives it away. What's really happening is simple. Your attention was something she was used to, maybe even counted on. When it's gone, she feels that absence. But instead of showing it openly, because let's be honest, nobody wants to look vulnerable, she does. The opposite, she tries to appear unbothered. It's a form of self-protection. She avoids looking vulnerable and doesn't want to give you the satisfaction of knowing that your attention meant something to her. This can show up in little ways. She might stop engaging like she used to. Maybe she no longer responds to your stories, your posts, or your messages, not because she's truly indifferent, but because she wants you to notice her silence. It's her way of saying, see, I'm good without you, even though inside, she's wondering why things changed. This is where a lot of guys get confused. You might think, well, I guess she's over it, or I must not have mattered that much, but often the truth is the opposite. That distant attitude is a mask. She's watching to see if you'll notice her pulling back, if you'll chase her like before, if you'll give her a reason to drop the act and engage. It's not that she truly doesn't care, it's about seeing if she can get your attention back without having to ask for it. The key for you is to see through this. Don't assume that just because she's acting unfazed that she really is. And more importantly, don't feel like you need to prove anything or break your focus just to respond to that act. Stay steady. Let her be the one to drop the mask if she really wants to reconnect. In the end, this behavior says more about where her head is than anything else. It's not about strength or confidence, it's about holding on to pride while figuring out what's really going on between you. Your best move? Keep your cool and let actions, not performances, guide what happens next. 7. She starts chasing what she took for granted. Here's where things come full circle. When a woman realizes she's lost your attention and nothing else has worked, she often starts chasing what she once took for granted. That means you. The guy who was always there, always making the effort, suddenly feels like he's slipping away. And when that happens, she starts doing what she never thought she'd need to do, putting in the work to get your attention back. At first, it might look like she's being more thoughtful, checking in more often, being sweeter, putting effort into conversations, maybe even dropping hints about spending time together again. On the surface, that can feel good. And sometimes, it really is genuine. But here's where I want you to pause and think, why did it take you pulling back for her to see your value? Why wasn't she showing this energy when you were already giving your best? This is where a lot of men slip up. The moment she starts chasing, you might feel relieved or flattered, thinking, finally she sees me. Finally, she's acting right. And what do? You jump right back into giving her the attention she missed. The problem is, if you move too fast, you kill the lesson. The effort she's making can disappear just as quickly as it started once she feels she's got you back. So here's my advice. Don't get caught sleeping. Take a step back and reflect. Why did you stop giving her your attention in the first place? Was she taking you for granted? Were you overinvesting while she barely lifted a finger? And now that she's chasing, what do you want from this? Is it just attention you're after, or something real and balanced? See, the point isn't to play hard to get forever or punish her for past behavior. The point is to realize your attention is valuable. It shouldn't take pulling away for someone to see your worth. And when they finally do, you owe it to yourself to make sure the change is real, not just a temporary reaction to losing the spotlight. If she starts chasing, good, let her show that effort. Let her prove she means it. Meanwhile, stay focused on yourself and your path, because the right woman won't need you to pull back to appreciate you. She see your value from the start and match your energy. Without games. Here's the bottom line. When a woman realizes she's lost your attention, it triggers all kinds of reactions, some subtle, some loud, some confusing if you're not paying attention. But all of it points to one thing. Your attention mattered more than she let on. Think about that. For a second, a woman often values your attention more when it's gone than when she had it freely. Now the key is what you do with that knowledge. Don't fall into the trap of reacting just because she's chasing or playing games. Don't tie your self-worth to how much attention she gives or doesn't give. Instead, stay focused on yourself. Let people show their true intentions through action, not just words or temporary effort. I'd love to hear your take. Have you seen any of these reactions play out? How did you handle it? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every one, and I'm down to reply and chat with you. Let's open up the conversation because a lot of guys go through this, and there's real value in learning from each other. If this hit home, make a Sure to like the video and subscribe for more straight up, no nonsense insights. Remember, your attention is valuable. Act like it.